Welcome to the AC 24/7 Top Story Countdown. We'll guide you through the biggest news of the day. Our focus, advocating our rights, advocating equality, advocating health, and advocating Earth. Here's our pick for number 4.
Nearly 500,000 munitions. That's how much the Ukrainians say the Russian army fired at them in only a week's time on the Eastern Front. Still, Moscow reporting only modest gains. Over the past 3 days, the advance of Russian troops in this direction amounted to 11 kilometers along the front and more than 3 kilometers into the depth of the enemy's defense, the army spokesman says. But the Ukrainians say in most areas they are the ones advancing, and Kiev is hitting Putin's military behind the front lines as well. After Ukrainian sea drones hit both a Russian tanker and a warship in the past days, now an air attack damaging a vital bridge connecting occupied Crimea to Ukraine's mainland. A local Moscow-installed official trying to downplay the significance. These are sneaky punches, he says, really sneaky. They can't be forgiven. They are just snarls from a wounded animal. Strikes like these often made possible by Western-supplied air-launched cruise missiles. Glory to Ukraine, President Zelensky wrote on a French model during a visit to his Air Force this weekend. But now, Ukraine's intelligence service says it foiled a Russian plot to assassinate Zelensky using an informant trying to scout out his whereabouts. The Ukrainians say questioning revealed the person was involved in other attempted plots as well. The Ukrainians say their troops have been making some gains on the southern front, putting pressure on entrenched Russian forces there. Russian President Vladimir Putin meeting with the boss of one of Russia's top arms makers, urging him to speed up manufacturing of modern weapons. Manufacturers promised me that they would increase the amount of production, he says. They deliver on that promise, but it needs to be increased even more. This Russian drone footage shows the aftermath of some of the fighting in Ukraine's south. Very little territory won or lost, but nearly every building completely destroyed.
TheAdvocateChannel.com looks at the world through the lens of equality and inclusion. Subscribe, like, and share now. AC 24/7's Top Story Countdown continues with our producer's pick for number 3.
Oh, the irony here. The company that taught us all how we could work from home and see each other, Zoom, is now saying it wants its workers in the office at least 2 days out of every week. And they're not alone in doing that. Several others have done the same thing. Google, Salesforce, Amazon, and the U.S. government all saying we like the idea of people being there face to face. We like the synergy. We like the productivity that comes out of it. They're convinced that's better. Now, a lot of workers are not so convinced, especially younger workers and those who are more highly educated. They are saying, look, we don't like commuting. 48% say that's one of the reasons they don't want to come into the office. It costs gas, it costs time, it costs money. They don't like paying extra childcare. When they're home, they can take care of that. 14% think that. 13% say they are better able to focus. What is the difference here in what they want? Generally, employers want 1.6 days at home per week. Well, it's weird. We don't take 0.6 days. So basically, they're saying 2 days at home a week is enough. Workers want a little more than that. So basically, 3 days at home per week. The workers have a really strong hand to play here right now because so many employers are still trying to find enough people. And interestingly, working from home, one study found workers equate that to an 8% higher salary if they have the freedom to work from home a lot. So you can see for employers, yeah, they want people back, but it's an uphill climb.
Like the Advocate Channel on Facebook for the best way to get updated stories that advocate for equality, justice, our rights, and more. AC 24/7 continues with today's top 2 pick.
The housing market taking another hit. According to Bankrate, the average rate for a 30-year mortgage rose to 7.09% last week after credit rating agency Fitch downgraded the U.S. debt rating from AAA to AA+. This over worries that the U.S. won't fulfill its debt obligations.
We feel like, that the other underlying metrics have deteriorated to such an extent that it's no longer consistent with the AAA.
Economists say higher mortgage rates mean consumers will have to pay more for the same house. Those higher costs are sidelining some would-be homebuyers, but demand is still high. One economist says that's because inventory is too low.
We sort of have a housing shortage in the country. We need to build a lot more homes over the next decade to catch up with the shifting demographics and the actual demand, especially amongst those first-time home buyers.
Fitch's decision to drop the U.S. credit rating last week is having a ripple effect. Mortgage giants Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae also saw their ratings fall slightly. And all this could make it even harder for U.S. consumers to find a home they can afford. Several leading economists have denounced Fitch's downgrade, citing cooling inflation and other positive indicators. Meanwhile, former Treasury Secretary Henry Paulson says the debt is not an immediate worry.
But longer term, it's a major concern. There's no example in history of any major power continuing to be a power where they lose their fiscal strength.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Amanda Sansoni.
Follow the Advocate channel on Twitter and Instagram to stay updated on stories that matter every day. We're now at our #1 story of the day. Take a look.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis saying directly what his chief rival, former President Donald Trump, refuses to, that Trump lost the 2020 election.
Of course he lost. Joe Biden's the president.
DeSantis making the case in a new interview that if the 2024 election is about Trump and his legal battles, Republicans will lose.
That's not a pathway for success for the Republican Party. I think a lot of our voters understand that.
It's a similar line of attack former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie has been using against the former president.
I want Republican voters to know this is a preview of the election coming up if Donald Trump's the nominee. He'll be talking about Donald Trump rather than Joe Biden. And what we should be focused on is talking about Joe Biden and his record, and that's why he cannot be the nominee.
Many of the Republican candidates spent the weekend in Iowa, courting voters in the first-in-the-nation caucus state.
Iowa's an important state, not because of the caucuses, that's an important thing, but for our national security. Food security is national security. You supply us with our food, you supply us with ethanol.
I'm asking for your support in the January caucuses because I can pledge to you this: I will get the job done. I will not let you down.
But Trump continues to go after DeSantis.
DeSantis has fallen very dramatically.
And his other rivals, most pointedly his former Vice President Mike Pence, writing on Truth Social, quote, "He's delusional, and now he wants to show he's a tough guy." Pence has been sharpening his criticism of Trump following the former president's third indictment, saying Trump put himself before the Constitution, and anyone who does that should not be president.
President Trump was wrong. He was wrong then, he's wrong now. I had no right to overturn the election. And more and more Americans are coming up to me every day and recognizing that.
Thanks for watching the Advocate Channel's top stories. We're on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. Follow, like, and share, or check out advocatechannel.com for even more stories that advocate for you.